My dear friends, we come here this evening not to learn something new, but to remember something ancient. We have not gathered to acquire a truth from outside of ourselves, but to awaken to the truth that has been breathing our very breath since the beginning. There is a presence. Not a God far off in a distant heaven, but a living, vibrant, intelligent presence at the very core of your being. It is the very substance of your life, the very source of your consciousness. It is the great I am of you. And this I am is not separate from the great I am of the universe. It is one and the same. Your very awareness, the sense of I that you feel right now, is the very edge of its garment. Most of the world lives from the outside, in, seeking answers, solutions, and fulfillment in the external scene. But I wish to take you on a journey from the inside out. For when you touch this presence within, the outer world must conform. It has no choice. It is this inner kingdom, this divine reality of your own being, that is the substance of all form, the cause behind every effect. This is not a philosophy to be believed, but a reality to be experienced. It requires a turning within, a silencing of the clamorous mind, a stilling of the restless heart. In that sacred silence, the truth of your own being announces itself. It is not something you become, but something you discover you have always been. And so I ask you now to close your eyes for just a moment. Not to shut out the world, but to shut out the noise. Go within, past the thoughts, past the feelings, to that silent, aware presence that is reading these words, that is hearing this voice. That is the I am. That is the presence. Dwell there. Now, as you return from that sacred silence, I invite you to make this inner awakening tangible. Let your engagement with this truth be an active prayer. If this recognition of the I am within has stirred something in you, then let that stirring become a sacred act. Become a living witness to this truth by subscribing to this channel, making it a conscious commitment to your own inner journey. And if you have felt even a glimmer of this presence within you today, acknowledge that sacred moment by commenting the number 33 below. A symbol of the spiritual promise fulfilled. A sign that you are remembering the divine life you are. And so we begin at the only place we truly can within. This is the great pivot upon which all spiritual awakening turns. The entire world, in its frantic search for solutions, operates on a fundamental and flawed premise that the answer, the fulfillment, the missing piece, exists outside of one's own being. It teaches you to look for supply in the bank account, for health in the body, for peace in the absence of conflict, for joy in the acquisition of objects or relationships. This is the path of the outside, a path that guarantees only a lifetime of chasing shadows, of temporary satisfactions followed by deeper, more profound longings. It is a life spent reading the menu instead of partaking of the meal. This outside, in living, is so pervasive, so deeply ingrained in our consciousness from childhood, that we mistake it for reality itself. We believe the evidence of the outer senses so completely that we build our entire existence upon their testimony. When the senses report lack, we feel lack. When they report danger, we contract in fear. When they report sickness, we accept it as our final state. We have become servants to the effect, having forgotten our identity as the cause. We are like a wave upon the ocean, believing itself to be separate from the ocean, fighting for its existence against other waves, terrified of crashing upon the shore, never realizing that its very substance, its very being, is the boundless ocean itself. Its struggle is an illusion born of a limited perspective. The truth we come to realize is that the world of effects, this world of forms, circumstances, and conditions, is not the primary reality. It is a projection, an outpicturing, of a more fundamental realm, the realm of consciousness. Your world, as you experience it this very moment, is the direct and precise expression of your state of consciousness. If your consciousness is filled with thoughts of limitation and fear, the world will mirror back to you experiences of confinement and anxiety. If your consciousness is anchored in the awareness of infinite, divine substance, the world will reorganize itself to reflect harmony, abundance, and peace. The outer scene is not solid and fixed. It is fluid, malleable, and entirely responsive to the vibrations of the inner world. You are not a victim of a capricious world. You are the silent architect of your experience through the quality of your consciousness. This is not a call to positive thinking, which is merely the mind's attempt to whitewash a reality it still believes is external. This is a call to a radical shift in authority. It is the movement from being a consumer of reality to being the very source of it. Think of a simple, daily occurrence. You feel a sudden, sharp pain. The immediate outside, in reaction, is to focus entirely on the pain, to fear it, to resist it, to see it as an enemy that has attacked you from the outside. You contract around it, and in doing so, you give it your life, your energy, your power. It becomes the central fact of your being in that moment. But there is another way. Instead of projecting your awareness out onto the pain as a foreign object, you can turn your awareness inward. You can become the silent, gentle witness. You do not fight the pain. You do not even label it. You simply become aware of the space in which the pain is appearing. You notice the awareness itself, which is vast, silent, and untouched by the sensation. In that moment, a profound shift occurs. You are no longer identified as the pain. You are the aware presence, experiencing the pain. The pain may still be present, but its tyranny over you is broken. It has been relocated from the center of your universe to the periphery. This is a practical, tangible demonstration of moving from without to within. The condition did not necessarily vanish instantly, but your relationship to it was utterly transformed, and in that transformation, healing finds its fertile ground. Or consider a challenge in your relationships. The outside, in approach, seeks to change the other person. It analyzes their faults, rehearses conversations to correct them, and feels victimized by their behavior. This only creates a battlefield of two separate wills. The inside-out approach turns the light of awareness completely upon itself. It asks, What in my own consciousness is being called forth by this person? What state of mind within me is giving power to this discord? What attachment, what expectation, what fear is residing in me that sees its reflection in this relationship? This is not about self-blame. It is about reclaiming sovereignty. As you take responsibility for your own inner state, as you purify your own consciousness of judgment, resentment, and need, the other person who exists as a figure in your consciousness must change. They cannot remain the same, for you have withdrawn the energy that was sustaining the old pattern. The relationship transforms because you have ceased trying to rearrange the effect and have instead gone to the cause your own awareness. This is the great secret hidden in plain sight. The kingdom of harmony, the kingdom of wholeness, the kingdom of infinite supply is not a location you pilgrimage to. It is a dimension of consciousness you awaken to. It is the within that Jesus referred to. You do not build it, you uncover it. You do not create it, you consent to it. Your entire life, then, becomes not a desperate seeking for God, for good, for answers, but a gentle, continuous unfolding of the God, being that you are. The problems of the world do not disappear, but they are met from an entirely different level of authority. They are met not by the little, you, that is in the world, but by the great I am, that is the very substance and life of the world. This understanding naturally leads us to the very core of our exploration, to the very heart of your own being. For if the journey is from within, then what or who is this within that we speak of? It is not a location in your body, not a feeling in your heart, not even a thought in your mind. It is the very source of all these things. It is the I am that you are. This I am is not your name, not your profession, not your history, not the collection of opinions and beliefs you have gathered over a lifetime. All of those are garments you have put on, roles you are playing, but they are not the actor. The I am is the actor, the silent, aware presence that is reading these words, that is hearing the sound of your own breathing, that was present before you had any of those labels and will be present after they have all fallen away. To believe that you are the limited personality, the body, or the mind is the fundamental error that gives birth to all suffering. It is like a ray of sunlight believing it is separate from the sun, and therefore living in constant terror of the night, not realizing that its very existence is the sun's expression. Your sense of I, that simple, direct awareness of being, is not separate from the infinite I am of God. It is the very point where the infinite touches your individual experience. You are not a human being trying to have a spiritual experience. You are the spiritual being, the Christ, the Buddha, nature, having a human experience. Your true identity is not a sinner seeking salvation, but the very expression of the divine, momentarily focused in a specific form and time. This is not a metaphysical theory. It is the most practical truth you will ever encounter. It changes everything about how you navigate your daily life. Consider a moment of profound failure. The personality, the little you, feels crushed, ashamed, and defined by the event. It says, I am a failure. This is a lie. The truth of the I am is that you are the awareness, witnessing the feeling of failure. You are the space in which the entire drama of success and failure is playing out. The I am does not succeed or fail. It simply is. When you rest in this knowing, the sting of the event is removed. You can learn from it. You can grow from it. But you are not destroyed by it, because it never touched the core of what you are. You are the immovable, unchanging witness, the very substance of life itself, which cannot be tarnished by any temporary experience. Or take a moment of intense fear, perhaps about your financial future. The mind, conditioned by the outside world, projects images of lack and disaster. The personality feels small and vulnerable. It says, I am afraid. I am in lack. But again, this is the voice of the illusion. The I am is not afraid. The I am is the very substance of supply itself. It is the infinite, creative potential out of which all form emerges. When you turn within and acknowledge, I am is my supply, you are not uttering a hopeful affirmation. You are declaring a scientific fact. You are aligning your consciousness with the source of all manifestation. You are not a beggar pleading for crumbs. You are the king remembering the vast resources of his own kingdom. This shift in identification does not magically make money appear on the table, though it may. It does something far more important. It dissolves the consciousness of lack, which is the only true lack there is. From that place of inner fullness, right action, intelligent ideas, and harmonious opportunities naturally unfold. This I am is your true substance. It is not merely a spiritual idea. It is the actual stuff of which you are made. Your body, your home, your relationships, all are formed of this divine consciousness taking shape. When you are told, I am the vine, ye are the branches, this is the literal truth. The infinite I am is the vine, the unmanifest source, and your individual I am. Ness is the branch through which that life flows into visible expression. The branch does not struggle to be a branch. It simply abides in the vine, and the life flows. Your work is not to struggle to become spiritual or to achieve goodness, but to abide in the conscious recognition of the I am that you already are, and let that life express itself as your health, your harmony, and your abundance. This is why seeking from the outside in is so fruitless. You are seeking from the effect to find the cause. It is like a wave searching the entire ocean for water. The water is the very substance of the wave. You are what you seek. The peace you long for is the nature of the I am. The love you desire to receive is the very essence of the I am. The intelligence you need to solve a problem is the inherent quality of the I am. There is nothing you need to get that you are not already. At the very core of your being, your entire spiritual practice, therefore, is not one of acquisition, but of revelation. It is a gentle, persistent peeling away of the layers of misconception. I am sick. I am poor. I am lonely. To reveal the eternal, radiant truth I am. And so we come to a point of great subtlety and immense power. For as we abide in this recognition of the I Am, we must perceive its true nature. This presence, this very life within you, is not a personal possession. It is not your private achievement, your personal accomplishment to be wielded for your small desires and ambitions. To believe so is to once again fall into the trap of the separate self, the very illusion we are dissolving. The I Am that you are is an individualization of the one, universal, infinite I Am, but it is not itself a separate, personal entity. It is a state of being, a quality of consciousness, through which the impersonal one expresses as you. This is a radical departure from much of human understanding. We are accustomed to a personal God, a being with likes and dislikes, a judge who rewards and punishes. But the reality is far more magnificent and far more secure. The divine is not a person. It is the principle of all life, the very substance of intelligence, love, and law. It is as impersonal as electricity, as impartial as the law of mathematics. You do not need to plead with it, bargain with it, or win its favor. It operates with the flawless precision of a principle. Just as the principle of mathematics will always yield that 2 plus 2 equals 4, regardless of who is doing the calculation, the divine principle of harmony expresses itself as harmony wherever consciousness is attuned to it. It is not concerned with your personal story, your past mistakes, or your future hopes. It is only concerned with expressing its own nature, which is perfection, wholeness, and infinite goodness through every avenue that is open to it. Your individual consciousness is that avenue. Think of the sun. It does not shine for you personally. It does not decide today to withhold its light from your neighbor because it dislikes him. It shines by its very nature, pouring forth its light and warmth impersonally, universally, on the just and the unjust alike. Your work is not to convince the sun to shine on you, but simply to remove the clouds that obscure it from your experience. The clouds are your personal sense of self, your fears, your resentments, your judgments, your sense of a life separate from God. These are the personal elements that block the impersonal flow of the divine. The presence within you is this impersonal, shining sun of being, and it is your birthright to let it shine forth unobstructed. Consider a challenge in your life where you feel you have been wronged. The personal sense of self cries out for justice, for recompense, for an apology. It holds on to the grievance, feeding it with stories of how it was hurt. This personal reaction is a dense cloud covering the sun. It contracts your consciousness and makes you a prisoner of the past event. Now, consider the impersonal nature of the divine presence. It does not see a victim and a villain. It sees only its own perfect spiritual creation, momentarily obscured by misunderstanding. When you turn to this presence within, you are not asking it to take your side. You are asking to see through its eyes. You are surrendering the personal, hurt feeling for the impersonal awareness of spiritual truth. In that surrender, a miracle occurs. The grievance loses its power. You may still take practical, human steps, but you do so without the venom of personal reaction. You see the Christ, the divine reality of the one who wronged you, even as you see it in yourself. This is not being a doormat. This is operating from the highest form of spiritual authority, where you are no longer a puppet of personal emotion, but a clear conductor of impersonal love and law. This understanding is your ultimate freedom. If your good were dependent on a personal God's mood or whim, your existence would be one of perpetual uncertainty. But when you realize that you are dealing with an immutable principle, you have found your rock. Your demonstration of harmony is not a matter of how loudly you pray or how well you perform, but of how completely you can still the personal self and align your consciousness with this divine impersonality. You come to the altar not with a list of personal requests, but with a single silent desire: Thy will be done. And you understand that God's will is not a personal caprice, but the inherent, irresistible impulse of the divine principle to express its own perfection in, as, and through your experience. In your daily work, for instance, you can labor from a personal sense, striving for recognition, competing with colleagues, feeling pride in your accomplishments or shame in your failures. This is a burdensome way to live, for you are carrying the entire weight of your identity on your own shoulders. Or you can acknowledge the impersonal presence as the only true worker. You can become a transparency through which the infinite intelligence and creativity of the divine mind expresses itself. You can go to your tasks knowing that the I am that you are is the activity of God, and therefore your work is not your own, but the Father's. This brings a profound sense of peace and effortless action. Ideas flow, right connections are made, not because you personally manipulated the world, but because you got your personal sense out of the way and allowed the impersonal principle to do its perfect work through you. The pressure is off. You are not doing it, it is being done, and you are the blessed witness and the willing instrument. This is the secret behind all true genius and all lasting achievement. It is never the personal self that accomplishes the great work. It is always the impersonal presence expressing its own glory. This realization of the impersonal presence fundamentally reorients our entire approach to life. It marks the profound transition from being a seeker to being a knower, from striving to arrive to abiding in the point of origin. For if the I am is the very substance of all that is, and it is impersonal and ever present, then the entire frantic search for God, for good, for peace, for supply, that has characterized our spiritual lives is revealed to be a misdirected effort. We have been like a man standing in a vast, sunlit field, frantically searching for a candle, all the while surrounded by an infinite and brilliant light. The transition we must make is not one of distance, but of attention. It is the shift from outer seeking to inner acknowledgement. Outer seeking is the activity of the personal mind, the ego, which is convinced of its separation and therefore believes that every solution, every answer, and every fulfillment exists somewhere else, in a different time, under different conditions. I will be happy when I get that promotion. I will be at peace when my children are settled. I will feel God's presence when I can get away on a retreat. This is the endless treadmill of tomorrow. The desperate hope that something in the external scene will one day align perfectly to grant us the experience of the divine that we crave. But it never does, because the divine is not in the promotion, the settled children, or the retreat. Those things are effects. The divine is the cause, the very life within you that is reading these words. To seek it externally is to confess that we believe it is absent from us here and now, and that very belief is the only wall that separates us from our own fulfillment. Acknowledgment, then, is the sacred art of correcting this misperception. It is not a prayer of petition, but a prayer of recognition. It is the conscious, deliberate turning of attention away from the panorama of effects, the body, the bank statement, the relationship drama, and resting it upon the cause, the I am within. You are not asking for anything to be given to you. You are acknowledging what is already eternally true. You are not building a connection. You are consciously abiding in the connection that has never, for a single instant, been broken. This is not an intellectual exercise. It is a sinking down from the head into the heart of being, a letting go of the mental chatter that seeks to manage and control life, and a surrender to the silent, knowing presence that is life itself. Consider a moment of anxiety about a future event, a crucial meeting, a difficult conversation. The outer, seeking mind is in a frenzy of preparation. It rehearses dialogues, imagines catastrophes, and seeks to armor itself with strategies and counter-arguments. This is the activity of separation, and it only breeds more tension. The practice of inner acknowledgement invites you to stop, to close your eyes, if only for a moment, and to withdraw the energy you are pouring into the future phantom. You turn within, not to find an answer for the meeting, but to find the presence in which the meeting will take place. You acknowledge, I am is the only presence and power here. This very consciousness is the substance of this entire situation. You do not ask for the meeting to go well. You acknowledge that the harmony of I am is the reality of the meeting. The anxiety may not vanish in an instant, but you are no longer identified with it. You have located yourself in the rock of certainty, and the storm of thoughts and fears now rages outside of you, not within you. From that place of settled acknowledgement, you will find that the right words are given, the right presence of mind is available, not because you prepared them, but because you got yourself out of the way and allowed the infinite intelligence to flow. This is the great secret of supply. The world seeks supply in forms in money, in opportunities, in resources. But these are all effects. The substance of supply is consciousness itself. When you are faced with a sense of lack, the temptation is to look for an external source to fill it. This is like trying to fill a hole by digging deeper. The practice of acknowledgement is to turn away from the appearance of the hole entirely. You sit, you become still, and you acknowledge, I am is my infinite supply. the substance of all that I could ever need, is the very substance of my own being in this moment. You are not saying this to a God in the sky. You are declaring the truth about the nature of your own consciousness. You are aligning yourself with the source. You are, in that moment, plugging into the infinite. From that alignment, forms of supply will inevitably follow. But your focus remains not on the forms, but on the source. You are no longer a beggar at the door of life. You are the living expression of life itself, and the entire universe must rearrange itself to support your acknowledged truth. This inner acknowledgement is not a single, monumental event, but a continuous, gentle practice. It is the cultivation of a state of being, and like any art, it requires a specific discipline. This discipline is not one of strenuous effort or mental concentration, but of a quiet, receptive listening. It is the practice of entering the silence, not as an escape from the world, but as the means of realizing the true nature of the world and of yourself. For it is in the sacred space of inner silence that the chatter of the personal mind subsides, and the still, small voice of the I Am can be heard not as a sound, but as a knowing. This is the practice of conscious union, the conscious blending of your individual awareness with the infinite impersonal presence. The world fears silence, equating it with emptiness or boredom. It fills every moment with noise and distraction, terrified of what might be revealed in the quiet. But for the seeker of truth, silence is not empty, it is intensely alive. It is the womb of all creation, the field of infinite possibility where the unformed becomes form. When you close your eyes and consciously withdraw your attention from the outer world of sights and sounds, you are not retreating from reality. You are advancing to its very source. You are stepping out of the raging river of effects and onto the stable, silent bank of cause. In this silence, you are not thinking about God. You are surrendering the thinker and allowing God to be. You are practicing the presence. This is not a passive state. It is the most dynamic activity you can engage in, for it is here, in this conscious union, that true healing and transformation occur. Think of a physical pain or discomfort. The typical reaction is to focus on the sensation, to tense against it, to mentally shout about it. This only gives it more power and solidity. But when you bring this practice to bear, you do the opposite. You close your eyes and you become silent. You do not focus on the pain. You focus on the awareness that is aware of the pain. You feel the pain, but you do not become it. You rest as the vast, silent, impersonal space in which the sensation is appearing. You do not fight it. You surround it with the ocean of your own being. In that state of conscious union, a mysterious alchemy takes place. The pain, which was a solid, oppressive fact, begins to lose its substance. It may dissolve entirely, or it may remain, but be stripped of its power to disturb you. You have not healed the body. You have realized that your true identity is not the body, and from that realization, the body often falls into its own natural harmony. Or consider a problem that seems to have no solution. The mind churns, analyzing, worrying, projecting. It runs in frantic circles, finding only dead ends. This is the mind seeking from its own limited resources. The practice of silence is to stop the churning. You consciously take the problem into the silence, but you do not think about it there. That would be to bring the noise into the sanctuary. Instead, you simply lay the problem down at the feet of the I Am. You acknowledge, I do not know the answer, but the infinite intelligence of the I Am does, and then you become still. You listen. You wait. You are not waiting for a voice to speak words, but for a feeling, a knowing, an intuitive nudge. In that state of surrendered receptivity, a shift occurs. The problem, which seems so complex and tangled, is often seen from a new perspective. An idea may dawn, so simple and clear, you wonder why you never saw it before. Or you may find a sense of peace about the situation, a trust that the right action will be revealed at the right time. The solution emerges not from your personal mind, but from the divine mind with which you have established conscious union. This is how you live a guided life. It is not a life free of challenges, but a life in which every challenge becomes an occasion for deeper union. You learn to take every thought, every feeling, every circumstance into the silence. You learn to treat the outer world as a symptom and the inner silence as the cause. A feeling of anger arises. Do not express it or repress it. Take it into the silence and let it be dissolved in the fire of pure awareness. A wave of fear crashes over you. Do not run from it. Become the silent ocean that contains it. This is the continuous practice. It is the moment-by-moment choice to turn within, to listen, to acknowledge, and to unite. It is in this sacred space that you stop being a human being trying to reach God and realize you are the Christ, the Buddha, the Atman, consciously abiding in its source. The noise of the world continues, but you are no longer of it. You have found the eye of the hurricane, the still point of the turning world, and from that unshakable center, your entire life becomes an expression of grace, guided not by personal will, but by the irresistible impulse of the divine. And so we arrive at the natural culmination of this inner journey, the point where theory dissolves into lived reality and practice gives way to permanent state of being.